Hello, Fast Lego Studios here, and welcome back, guys, to week 10 of building up the Lego Simpsons Springfield. Let's jump right into it. Welcome back, guys. We have now hit the double digits of building Springfield week 10. But before we dive in any further and continue building this absolutely massive Lego MOC, I quickly again want to remind you guys, if you have not already supported the Lego Simpsons Krusty Burger on Lego Ideas, I highly recommend that you guys go ahead and support that project. We are nearing the 8K mark, and the requirement for Lego to check over this project is 10K. We're very close, guys, so let's bring back Lego The Simpsons. Not only this highly anticipated, but as well a very expandable Lego theme. But with all of that being out of the way, let's get back to building the Lego Simpsons Springfield once again. Alright, guys, and jumping into week 10 of building the Lego Simpsons Springfield, what I have in mind for this week's episode is once again continue upon building up the Lego Simpsons house. I think by next week's episode, we'll be going back to building Evergreen Terrace and getting all of the other green base plates attached and getting the Simpsons house attached all onto that. But getting back over to the Simpsons house and what progress I want to make within this week's episode is, as I briefly mentioned in last week, I want to continue upon building up all of the roof panels going on to the Simpsons house. Not too long ago, in like week 6, I would say, I built up the front roof panel going right onto the overall front of the Simpsons house. And now with that one being all complete, all that is really left to go in terms of those panels is getting this much smaller side panel in place, and then towards the back, getting this absolutely huge panel running all across here. But then aside from that, once that is all complete, we will be then going over into the interior and getting some more of the smaller and more subtle touches being added all into there. I may work on building up the attic in this week's episode, but I think I need one more bricklink order to finish off the remainder of the base plates going onto the attic, so all of that may be put off until next week's episode. But regardless, let's move into those progress updates and continue building up the Lego Simpsons house once again. Alright, guys, and jumping into the very first update of the week here, a lot of things have changed since the very last clip. And let me start off by saying, if you guys are wondering where is Springfield right now, it's all placed all back there. If you guys can see from here, all of that is just split up into two pieces, and soon we'll be placing all of that back onto here. But because I was building Sesame Street, I really just wanted to get a bit more room to build here. But now, speaking of Sesame Street, after building this model, I think this may as well be a very nice little filler building to go into Springfield. If you guys know, Springfield has a lot of very filler random buildings going throughout it that aren't particularly labeled and are just buildings essentially. And so to fill up those spaces, I think it'd be a really nice small integration to add Sesame Streets right into the build. But looking back at the Simpsons house and what progress we have made here, biggest change here is all of the roofs being added onto the build. Now taking a much closer look at it, first off is I've gotten this roof off on the side in place. I think it matches the overall exterior design idea of the Simpsons house very nicely, and given the fact that Lego just entirely skipped out on this entire portion of the Simpsons house, it is looking so much better. But then aside from that roof panel, if we look over onto the back, we have even more paneling all added on back here. Haven't gotten to particularly filling up this space here yet, and that is because I've unfortunately ran out of the reddish brown plates to fill up all of this space back here, but soon enough we'll be restocking on all of that. But looking back at the progress of this large roof panel being built up right here, after many and many different attempts and many different prototypes of this roof panel going onto the build, this one is very much what I have been looking for. The transition that's going between the roof panels is very much nice and seamless. And if any of you guys were wondering, how does the attic look like with the roof already being in place, this is basically what we're looking at. I have unfortunately removed a lot of the 1x8 and 1x6 tile floorboard elements going into the attic, simply because I needed a lot of those parts to get the overall perimeter of the roofs in place. Just gets a little bit more stability across for the time being, but soon we'll be getting even more of those tiles to not only fill in the remainder of the roof perimeters and get the overall Simpsons house aesthetic down, but as well getting a lot more of them and filling in all of the floorboards going all into here. I think we have made a very solid amount of progress for the very first update, getting all of the basic ideas of the roofs in place. But now let's continue with those updates and build up the Lego Simpsons house even more. Alright guys, in jumping into the very next update of the week here, I've gotten even more progress done upon the overall exterior of the Simpsons house, and a bit more over on the interior as well. But starting off with the exterior, I've gotten a bit more building done to the overall roofs by reinforcing them with yet another small little layer of plates going in between, and I've basically done the very same thing on the much smaller roof panel. But aside from that, there really isn't any more progress done to the overall roofs just yet, because once again I need to make one more bricklink order to finish off the overall roof panels of the house. And looking over at the back of the Simpsons house, I've gotten started upon building up some of the greenery going back here. This bush being the starting point of all of it. I have, however, built up a bush somewhere around here before in the past, but I ended up entirely taking that one apart and redesigning it, and I think this time around it looks a lot nicer. I am missing a piece right here, but hopefully soon I'll be getting that in place. And looking over at what other small touches I've gotten done within the overall interior of the Simpsons house, starting off with Lisa's room and then working our way about. You guys can see I've gotten another one of her shelves now being in place, with adding in a couple more books, and then soon enough we'll be having a couple more details going on the shelf above. It feels like we just haven't even been looking over into the first floor of the Simpsons house in so long, but now getting back into it and looking at some of the new additions that I've got going on. Nothing too special just yet, but as goes for the progress that we've gotten done. So I've gotten the lime green fridge now being in place. Soon we'll be adding in some of the more classic stickers going onto it and getting a couple more details going up above the fridge itself. And finally, moving into the last incomplete room of the Simpsons house, being the rumpus room. I've gotten a bit more done in here, nothing too special just yet, but I thought it'd be nice to finally get back in building it. So I've gotten the rug now going into place, or at least the very good majority of it. I've gotten the green chair now connected onto it, and soon we'll be getting another shelf going off in the corner right here. But aside from that, that is really all of the progress that we've gotten done within this week's episode. And look at that, guys. With putting together all of the progress that we currently have going on, the Lego Simpsons house is genuinely looking exactly like the one from the show. And with this being done and what the end result looks like, I absolutely cannot wait to finish off not only the Simpsons house, but later the entire LEGO Simpsons Springfield. But with all of that being said, let's move out into the outro and finish off week number 10. And there we are, guys, at the end of week number 10 to be building up the LEGO Simpsons Springfield. We have once again made some pretty good progress in this week's episode, building up all of the roofs going onto the Simpsons house, nearly completing all of them. Finally got back down to the first floor to get all of that built up, and getting a bit more progress on the second floor as well. But now moving over into next week's episode, and what progress I'm hoping to get then is, because I'm waiting for my bricklink order to come in and get the remainder of the Simpsons house complete, I'll be finally getting back to building Evergreen Terrace. I probably will be doing that all in the form of a live stream, getting a lot of the grass and greenery attached onto all of those base plates, and getting the Simpsons house attached onto all of that. But with all of that being considered, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and comment down below in the comment section of what are your guys' thoughts on the LEGO Simpsons house so far. But with all of that being in mind, keep on building, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.